Call this one Black Boys Anthem.
By any means necessary.
This goes out to all God's sons.
We're shedding blood now. We're being killed.
The best of us. Niggas like me. Y'all niggas be tearing down, crucifying, slandering, and killing. Yeah, all that shit.
Check me out, y'all. What's good?
Yo, what's up?
We in the building. Father, Son, and the Trolley Ghost. I'm your host, Heru.
Let's read.
And this is the platform where I troll you niggas with the truth, as you well know by now. And for those who don't know, you finna find out. So, today, well, before I get into that, just a little marketing break. Like, comment, subscribe, engage with the content.
We are not good at this marketing.
Yeah.
Just to let y'all
Yeah, the marketing thing, it's not what I'm here for. Just to let y'all know. It is, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like, shit I'm saying is shit I authentically want to say, but it's not geared towards selling you shit, but
you know, more thoughts.
That's the price of authenticity. Like, I can't tell you to do what makes sense to help the shit that you want to succeed. You got to do that. You know what I'm saying? Or else that makes me fake, right? So I don't do a whole lot of marketing, but trust me, I need support. We need support. The program needs support. The platform needs support. Like, that's what keeps it running. So, you know, don't make me have to be fake on you niggas. Like, go ahead and support without me having to drag you to the water and force your head into it. Like, you know, that's not even my style, bro. That shit is corny to me. But, yeah, support in the ways that you can support without being begged and manipulated into doing it, you know? Because this is the culture we created, right? Motherfuckers try to sell you shit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You ain't got no refuge from the salesman. And little do y'all know, that's kind of part of the problem of the age. You know, there needs to be places that merchants are not allowed in. You know what I'm saying? That's why Jesus wilded out on them niggas in the temple. It's like, bro, what you doing in here, bro? But anyway, today's subject is an interesting one. It's one you're not going to hear nowhere else probably, because I ain't gonna say came up with it, but I just noticed it myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's kind of deep. So today's subject we're gonna talk about is character archetypes and brainwashing. Now, it sounds kind of, you know, vague for some, but you know, I grew up, those kids, 80s babies, folks that grew up, you know, in the time frame that I grew up in, we watched cartoons, you know what I'm saying? And because life was a lot different then and everything was kind of more, everything was a little more standardized, I think. You know, what I mean when I say that right now, y'all niggas could go into a bubble of infinite content that only you like and people in your little niche like. That's how it is now. Back then, there was like 5 TV stations and everybody had to watch one of them. So I see there's a pro and con to that because it kind of unifies people, but it also makes it very easy for people up above us to give you a worldview that we all, you know, agree with and believe in, but it don't be true, right? So, you know, as with all things, right, there's pros and cons. That's a reality of life, whether you like it or not. There ain't no perfect scenario in this bitch. A lot of you women, you be destroying your lives, right, because you swear perfection is out there for you. But then you'll sit around and say, well, I ain't perfect. Well, bitch, if you know what I'm saying, like, you gotta think, right, all the way through. If you not perfect, nothing's perfect, probably. You know what I'm saying? Like, how even anyway, I ain't gonna go too far off on that. But everything got pros and cons. So getting back to forgive me, y'all, I'm a little under the weather. I'm getting over the flu. But getting back to character archetypes. So boom. We used to watch shit like He-Man, for those who know that. Transformers, for those who know that. G.I. Joe, for those who know that. Like, those were Thundercats. A lot of classics, right?
Yes, sir.
So one day it just occurred to me, right? There's a lot of nuances to this conversation. First of all, let's bring it over to you. Yeah, y'all niggas don't got no good cartoons. I'm just gonna be. Y'all had to go to anime and shit. Y'all had to go straight to the source. Because Transformers was really anime, I guess, early anime. Like, it was a Japanese cartoon, really.
Yep, it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. What the fuck did you grow up watching?
Sheesh, man. I'm gonna be. I'll put a note. I grew up during the WB Kids era, so that's like Yu-Gi-Oh.
I remember WB Kids. Okay, Yu-Gi-Oh. I remember that cartoon.
I can't remember all of them, but just what was another one? I mean, I lived through a couple different eras because like the main one that I really remember, if I'll say. The WB Kids was like real, like I would say like I was 3, 4, 5, 6, watching that. But
yeah, that's kind of early on.
Yeah, Cartoon Network era, really what I was. Yeah,
Cartoon Network era, and cartoons had changed a lot by then. I don't know. They seem to have lost a lot of substance to me, and became more silly over time.
Very much so. Like when I was watching it, you'd find a couple, you could find some jewels that had some substance or some really thought out, decently made cartoons, and then you also always had the dumb ones, and then that just became the norm, I guess. So.
What was? Let me see. Cartoon Network era. They was doing what? Morty. There was a bunch.
That's Adult Swim, but I would say.
Oh, that's Adult Swim.
Whoa, excuse me.
Okay.
Like Foster's Home of Imaginary Friends, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
All right, I remember that one. Huh?
Samurai Jack.
Samurai. That was my shit. Samurai Jack. I fucked with.
Yeah, Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff Girls. I remember that. Okay. All right. So some of those, the same thing that I noticed is actually in some of those too.
That I say. Yep.
So first off, let me say that we talking about cartoons, right? To start with, but we talking about cartoons, right?
Right.
So that means this shit is impacting your brain and teaching you about this world that you live in early. They're getting at you early with this shit, right? And as I've grown in my walk as a man, I guess you could say righteous man. Like, y'all don't really know what that term even means too much, right? So, that shit would be debatable amongst y'all, right? But in my just manhood and understanding what it took to be, excuse me, what it took to be a man, a good man, like, and when I say good man, I'm not talking about a good man in a woman's mind. Because one thing I learned in prison, women have no place amongst men. Now, I know that sounds mad misogynistic, but you gotta look at the world right now. You got so many feminine voices yelling in little boys' ear and men's ear what a man is, what's required from a man and what it takes to be a man. And how does that make sense? None of y'all are men. I mean, I learned manhood from men, bitch. I don't learn manhood from you. That's why a lot of shit didn't really click all the way till we went to prison. A lot of niggas, y'all, you know, shit is wild fucked up right now. Most of us, it's difficult to become a man unless you take that ride. Especially if you ain't got no father available to you. It's difficult to become a good man in the eyes of other men, right? Unless you take that particular ride. Because we don't have a coming of age ceremony anymore that lets a boy know, boom, this is now required of you and this is how you gotta hold it, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, I didn't learn that until I went there. But as I learned it and became more, and figured out what being a man is about, I realized it required me to be a lot of things that a lot of people fight against. Like, I have to be the best man that I gotta be ultra logical. You know what I'm saying? I can't let petty or frivolous things pull me off my path and my purpose, right? That's called discipline. Or it's a two-part thing. First, you have to think clear enough and be logical and not be emotional in your very thinking and formulating of plans. And then also, you can't be emotional in your execution. You have to be disciplined, right? Which means you have to tell yourself no a lot. And you know what that means? It means you have to be ready to tell other people no a whole motherfucking lot, right? Because I'm disciplined. If I let somebody else's requests make me do things that are outside of my discipline, well, now I'm letting them erode my discipline, right? You bitches don't be understanding that shit. You be like, oh, I want to go and eat 50 lobsters with my friends, and why don't you pay for it? Because I'm not a fucking idiot, bitch. And that doesn't make any sense. Not even for you and your friends, actually. Like, it doesn't. So, when I started to get into that, and then I started to look back at some of the characters in the cartoons, I realized that I had been programmed to look at righteous men as evil. Stay with me now. Let me break it down. In He-Man, the fucking main villain was called Skeletor.
Right, I remember Skeletor.
Right? The skeleton guy. Right? I don't know, he was muscular skeleton. Fucking go figure. I don't know how that happened. But, you know what I'm saying? Skeletor. Now, Skeletor and He-Man were pretty much diametrically opposite of each other. He-Man was this nice guy, white, blonde guy. You know, he was buff too. Also, He-Man had two forms. Skeletor had one. Anytime you see Skeletor, he was Skeletor. He-Man took on more of the Superman role. You know, he was Adam in daily life. This nice guy, non-assuming, non-threatening, other than being big and muscular, but, you know, pretty much interacted with the people around him like a boy. He had a tiger named Battle Cat. When Battle Cat and He-Man like charged up and got powerful, he was Battle Cat. But when He-Man didn't get the magic from the Emperors turned into when Adam didn't get that, when he wasn't using that, the tiger was a little scared, big-ass scared cat named Cringer, because he cringed all the time. So, basically, they both were painted in this non-assuming, non-threatening form because they're the good guys.
Like
when really
innocent way.
Right. Which, yeah. Skeletor, on the other hand, oh yeah, also a key thing about Adam and He-Man, they didn't. He-Man displayed power and ability to defeat Skeletor, but not necessarily high intelligence, right? Skeletor, on the other hand, was this, first of all, he's Skeletor, so he got a skeleton face. He's threatening, right?
Okay.
And he lived in this fucked up castle somewhere, and it's dark all the time around his castle. He had all these weird motherfucking cohorts and underlings, right?
People.
Beastman, and you got a couple of ladies, Evelyn, and da-da-da-da-da, right? But Skeletor didn't interact with his people like a boy. He's like, yo, y'all niggas do this, that, da-da-da-da. And when they failed, when he put a plan together to win and they failed, he would curse them out. He's like, I'm surrounded by, not curse them out, but I'm surrounded by imbeciles, you idiots, and you, and Skeletor would use a lot of intelligent words, right? So it just hit me one day. As I've gone into my walk in righteousness, I've become more like Skeletor than He-Man. I said, oh shit. And so then I started thinking about Cobra Commander and Destro and them in G.I. Joe. Same kind of vibe. These were men, these was men who had a goal, even though it was evil. And these people, like, what they do with these archetypes is they mix things. You know what I mean? So they gave this nigga with a severe and stern exterior, right? Who's really just a righteous and intelligent man who does not accept failure easily, and he don't like stupidity around him, right? Which is not actually a bad trait for a man, because that's the trait of a man that keeps his family in order and kicks out well-behaved, well-adjusted children to the society to contribute, right? You took that man and then you said, boom, and then you he wants to control the world. Most people who want to control the world are debaucherous assholes like Puffy, right? So that's actually not an accurate pairing.
Right.
Because it's not logical to want to rule the world, because that's a lot of fucking work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we can go into international events on another one, but you can look at this shit and just be like, yo, y'all probably should mind a little bit more of your own business, motherfuckers. Yep. But they made this stern, upright man a villain, gave him a world domination goal and objective, and this became your understanding of what a bad man looks like, especially you hoes. Because you think a nigga is supposed to be like Adam, right, and turn into He-Man when you need him to. That's not reality.
That's bars right there. That's exactly what they want. They want you to be all cute and cuddly and soft when they want you to be. And then you're just supposed to flip a switch and be Mr. Protector.
Right. Like there's some goddamn switch on my back that turns me into this warrior where you need me to fuck a nigga up, even if you was the one that did wrong, right? But you have control over that switch. So when he catch you fucking in the house, he not gonna kill you because you not gonna, like, that's the dumbest shit in the world. All right? Like, and if you pay attention to He-Man, that shit was extra steeped in toxic femininity. Because I noticed He-Man had a superior. Adam didn't get to turn into He-Man just because he had that skill. There was a lady called the Sorceress that gave Adam and Cringer that power to fight Skeletor and them.
Female.
And the funny shit is when I really got into it, now I'm not sure if these niggas did this shit on purpose when they wrote this cartoon, but the Sorceress lived in Castle Grayskull, which was a big ass castle that looked like a skull, and at the drawbridge was at the mouth. Who you think should have been living in that castle, actually? Right, and Skeletor was a sorcerer, and that was a sorceress. I'm like, yo, was these niggas married? This bitch kicked this nigga out. And that's the crux of the battle. So that shit was bugged.
Adam just fuck with him because that's her ex nigga and shit. Like,
now I'm not sure if they meant that, but I'm just looking like
that.
Like, why is she in Castle Gray Skull? And she a woman?
I'm gonna tell you, they meant that, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because on YouTube, back in the 2000s, before YouTube got really commercialized, there used to be these couple videos that was giving out the lore, as they would call it, of old cartoons that niggas was used to watch. And like one of the ones I remember would be Ed, Ed, and Eddie. And they said that Ed, Ed, and Eddie was different kids from different time periods that may have lived in that cul-de-sac, but they all died at one point. And what you're watching is their souls interact.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It was that like some verified shit, or was
it wasn't. They used some information. I don't remember everything, but like I remember, the little boy with the plank. I forgot his name. The brown boy, the plank.
I think I watch a lot of Eddie, so I might not know every aspect of it, but I remember the show though.
I think they said he was part of the Great Depression or something like that. That's why he only had a wooden stick to play with. Ed, the one that was always scheming, he was like a part of like the Boomers or something like that. He was used to like money or whatever. I forgot a couple of the other ones, but the YouTube video probably still out there. But they had.
That's interesting. But yeah, I be thinking I know for a fact, as far back as Looney Tunes, they would throw small shit in there, hidden knowledge. Like everybody, like most niggas know by now, Looney Tunes used to be mad racist. It had wild racist clips and depictions.
The fucking Indian nigga, I forgot what they called him. The big Indian nigga that they would have on Looney Tunes. I forgot.
A big Indian nigga.
Yeah.
It was like a genie?
Nah, not a genie, but it was just like this big.
He used to have a rap. He used to wrap his head like a swami. I think I know you.
No, he didn't have a wrap though. He just had like the feather and shit.
But didn't he have the sultan? Like it was a sultan, and then it was like I don't know.
I think so.
It was like a headpiece with a feather on the top of it.
Yeah.
Was he? Wait a minute, cause you say Indian, and now I gotta
like a native,
you mean
like a Native American.
Native American. Oh, cause I was thinking East Indian.
Yeah.
You see, you got to get your political correctness together, kid. Nah, but yeah. So they used to have that. Yeah, them niggas would be in there, and doing all that crazy shit, like depicting, when they go to Africa, these niggas, they doing all this other shit, right? These things was in there, but there was also spiritual lessons. There was also a lot of commerce lessons. There was a lot in them Looney Tunes, a lot of wisdom. Like a lot of times when the niggas, a lot of times like if they died in the episode and they fall down, they be in hell, they be fire, and the devil be there, and you want them to sign some kind of contract or something. They was teaching us about this shit early. Our parents weren't teaching us about this early, but these things was in the cartoons. So, getting back to old He-Man and his cougar. Fucking, I noticed that she's in that castle that looks like Skeletor should probably. Skeletor was in some fucked up shit in the Darklands, and he probably wasn't happy about it. And he probably like it made sense. Like, oh, so this was about him. Like, first of all, bitch, give me my house back. And second of all, whatever else he had, gripes he had. And then she had Adam and this guy He-Man. I mean, this guy Adam and Cringer. And this nigga was not He-Man. Anytime he turned into He-Man, he lifted the sword up. Castle Grayskull appears behind him. Lightning strikes. She turned into He-Man. All this shit. So basically, he depended on the sorceress as his source of power. This nigga was a simp. And he was a big dumb jock ass nigga. Like these niggas, like I pointed out before, intelligence wasn't his key marker in the show. That was Skeletor's key marker. And intelligence is very important if you actually want to be an authentically good guy or righteous guy in this world, especially this world. Because the attacks, the enemies and their attacks, way more mental today than,
never before
in a primitive environment or some shit like that. Like, in order to defend and protect your family today, you have to be extremely intelligent, man, that can look at things that's being offered and sold and all of this shit and pressured for your family to accept and all of that, and see the danger or see the strings attached and say no. And no, y'all can't have it either. Even if they really, really want it. Oh. So now what does that really look like in a family or in a relationship with a man?
Looks like the man is the bad guy.
I mean, look. And you know that part isn't new.
Standpoint.
Huh?
From
Yeah.
a childish standpoint.
But you see, the funny thing about you bitches is that you don't even understand that the child wants. Because you think it's about being and this is something we actually mentioned in our preliminary conversation. This belief in this pure good / pure versus / pure evil, that shit is not reality. And this struggle of spirituality has more to do with reality versus illusion than this idea of good versus evil, right?
Say that again.
So what you?
No, say that again, dog. You went over that because these niggas lost the plot on. We gotta put that in for these spiritual guru niggas.
Yeah, a lot of you spiritual
These niggas
guru ass
talking about
niggas.
New Earth and all this shit. They talking about.
Yo, I just seen this. Anyway, yo, that shit.
Say that again. What
Yo.
is this spiritual warfare shit about, really?
So this spiritual warfare shit is more about reality versus illusion than it is about good versus evil. Okay? Because good and evil, those words are too relative. A hero and villain, those words are too relative. Okay? Christopher Columbus is a European hero.
But he's an African.
Is he a Native American hero?
He's not.
You know? Patrice Lumumba, African hero. Is he a European hero?
No.
So that makes you stupid. And I touch on that in my book, Dark Truths, if any of y'all would like to, check it out. But there's a chapter called Machine Consciousness. And y'all don't understand that they be brainwashing you on one level by hitting you with that good and evil bullshit. Because that, once you start classifying everything as good or evil, black or white, now you are disqualified from understanding life from any other way, shape, form, or person angle, right? Because you are now thinking in ones and zeros, like a computer. And on a very basic level, because computers still think in ones and zeros. They're just taking that, layered it on top of it, and created programming languages that look like they read something other than 1 and 0. But when you go all the way down into the science, at least up until you get to quantum computing, they're still dealing with binary, basically. That's how you talk to a computer.
Right.
And that's how people talk to you. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you talk to people, but you don't understand that shit is complete programming. It's not real. And it cripples your ability to see reality in a holistic way. Now, reality versus illusion. Once you start dealing with that, you can start dealing with life a lot more accurately. Okay? If you only see death as bad, then you're going to do ungodly shit like try to live forever. Right? And that's not in the plan. It doesn't make sense. What the fuck the baby's gonna do if all you punk ass old niggas is living forever? You gotta die. You know what I'm saying? That's just something we have to accept as humans. Mm-hmm. Why? Because it's reality. And what is reality really? Reality. What do you think it is? Take a crack at it. What do you think it is?
Yeah,
it's a deep one. It's one of them simple questions.
It's one of them simple,
difficult to answer. You know, I always hit you with those.
Yeah, I feel like the first episode, or like the second. But yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Reality, I would say, from my little basic understanding, is just like, a perceived,
Ooh. Using the word perception with reality. Interesting.
Oh, yeah,
Continue.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's not it. But
I mean, it could be. Depends on where you go next.
Like a shared, agreed upon. As far as like if a whole group of people, like consciousness or whatever, like what everyone agrees to be. Like we all agree that a tree is a tree. You know what I'm saying? And we there. So I'm getting a little too far off, but yeah, basically the basic agreement of what's in front of us. I like to say that's what reality is.
Basic agreement. Okay. Let's see.
Probably not the strongest one, but that's what I got going on right now.
I don't even know if I can say close but no cigar. The aspect of it is true, because reality, a good way to check to make sure you're dealing with reality is agreement. Like, is that tree right there? You see that tree right there? Yeah, I see that tree. Y'all see that tree? Yeah, that tree is right there.
Okay.
This is how we know.
See the tree.
This is how we know, okay, that shit is really there. But what is reality when you don't have perception? Or when it's not based on perception? Is reality based on perception?
Not.
There's a saying, perception is reality, right?
They do say that. But
okay. So this is a complex thing. We play with it some more. Do you want to? Or I can go into it, but it's a complex thing.
Go ahead.
So, as I've come to understand it, and this can only come to you if you like center yourself around the Most High, right? And center your understanding of like, and as I said before, if you believe in the Most High, if you believe in a Godhead, then you have to understand that there's no being right unless you understanding shit through that lens. So reality really is the will of the Most High. Because he created this shit, right? And everything, you goddamn right. And that's the basis of also witchcraft. Because what you said is true. Perception and motherfucker, because manifestation starts mental, right? So, and the Most High gave us a measure of his creative ability and power, right?
That comes from
man is made in God's image. That's what the fuck that means, right? That's why you got an opposable thumb. This is the physical tool that changes you from every other animal into something that can more skillfully manipulate. Man, there's a connection. The word man in Spanish, hand is mano. So, you know what I'm saying? The root word of manipulate is manipulate. Okay? Mm-hmm. These are not coincidences. This all has to do with that shared power that you have with the Most High. Now, yes, you can manifest things in your imagination. So, you can't really say that the things that you imagined and brought into fruition are not real. It's reality, especially if you succeeded in manifesting it, right? Right. So, that takes a measure of unreality or illusion or imagination and kind of makes it real. But so at the end of the day, the best way to really define and lock into reality is understanding the Most High, because you can, because that manifestation, so the fact that the nothing, right? This is all created out of potential energy matter, the nothing. And the Most High's will is what did it. Means that other people can dig into that shit and manifest shit too. Which starts to blur the lines of reality, which is what you're seeing right now, right? But that is why witchcraft is denounced so strongly by the Most High. Because, number one, you're a fucking idiot if you start trying to... And a lot of this can happen just because you were educated wrong, which is most of y'all problem. But some of y'all are willfully ignorant. You know better than a lot of the shit that you do, but you do it anyway. Because you've been given a world where you can get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Because so many other people worship so many other things other than the Most High. And so they don't put foot to ass on your dumb ass when you violate. But you are hurting yourself trying to you can't out-manifest the master manifester. So what makes your shit witchcraft is when you start manifesting. He gives you the lane to manifest. That's why he gave you the power. But you gonna manifest, you gonna take the power I gave you and manifest some shit that's against me. That's called betrayal, bro. You gonna get fucked up for that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's why witchcraft ain't cool. Because when you start manifesting against the will of the Most High, he gonna let you rock. This shit gonna seem like it might even, if you do it really good, if you a really good manifester, you could create some shit that's quite anti the Most High.
We see
and it'll stand for a while.
We see it, right?
But you see, the one thing about it, you can't outlast him. He don't even put the strength on you. You just can't outlast me. And when that motherfucker falls, it's gonna fall right down on your goddamn head. And the longer you've been doing it, and the stronger you've been doing it, the more it's gonna crush you when it do.
But so, if we can, real quick, just go back, because some people might have got lost.
I was gonna get rewind, but go ahead. Where you want to go to?
I was just gonna say that you said that what is reality? You said reality is the will of the Most High. Some people might leave that feeling confused because they don't know, how to hear the Most High and whatnot. But I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that that's what reality was. You said it fast.
Oh, I went too fast to the next thing. Yeah, that's a big thing. So coming back to that, glad you did. The will of the Most High, if you need to understand what reality is, it starts with understanding that reality was created by something, an intelligence, that a very, very high level intelligence that was able to make planets work like clockwork and all of this shit, and then also leave room for chaos. You know what I'm saying? So once you look at it from that perspective, as opposed to some shit that just appeared one day, because who knows why. You know what I'm saying? Once you understand that, then it's a logical jump from that to, okay, this reality is what he wanted it to be. It's what he wants. It's just right?
Right.
So that's a big part. So now, taking that and bringing it back to where we started, in the family structure and women being programmed and just children in general. See, I was going to say what women don't understand is, even though we talking about children's cartoons, children have a deeper programming, right? And one thing I notice about children, I said it enough before, is that they be looking for authority, right?
Right.
So little do you women know, just because a child cries don't mean it hates. Okay, so what do I mean why I say it like that? Because you bitches think that when I'm disciplining, a lot of you do that. You kick the man out the life because you disagree with his methods of parenting. Sometimes a lot of relationships break because of that. They break because maybe you feel like he's too hard on his child. And more than anything, they break because you have to hear a nigga tell you no. And you're a fucking baby yourself, so you have a tantrum and you destroy your life, right? And you don't know it because you're manifesting something that's anti-God, because God already told you where your place is. And so now you gotta fight God. You know, motherfuckers, I see the video the other day, nigga asked a bitch, was it the African nigga? One of them African niggas that be doing the interviews, I think. Yeah, I asked a bitch, you Christian? She's like, yeah. She's like, well, and she was like one of these boss bitches. I got it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, so you Christian? She's like, yeah. I was like, well, Jesus told you had to submit to your man. Is Jesus wrong? She's like, yeah. I'm like,
so you're not Christian though.
I mean, I don't know what in the world would make her say yes to that question and then say that right after and not know that you look like a fucking idiot right now. But it ain't even, it's not even no more about all of this who's right and who's wrong for me. Because again, going back to, this is why I call motherfuckers stupid all the time and idiots. Because that's what's really going on. That's the evil. You're a fucking fool.
It's the fools running rampant.
Right. You're a fool, and then you're an arrogant, egotistical fool who will then push your foolishness into another human's brain through pure confidence of fuckery and charisma, right? Mm-hmm. And you full of shit. And nothing you say it makes sense. How in the fuck is a man supposed to keep a family together if he don't dominate? Like, matter of fact, let's go back to that. Keep the family safe, because that's his job. It's actually your job to keep the family together, bitch. Like, you're the body. I'm the head, right? The head and the body do two different things. You know what I'm saying? Right. Your head and I don't know if I said this before, but your head and your body could have an awesome battle about who's more important. But 2 or 3 things will always be true. The first is the body can't do the head's job as well as the head can. And the head can't do the body's job as well as the body can. Right. That's the first thing that's going to be true. The second thing that's true is your motherfucker ass dead without either one of them shits.
And then separated.
You're done. And yeah, so they got argue and fight all day about who is more important. But as long as those 2 things are true, it don't matter who wins. Right? Because, so a lot of these women that's operating these families, cause now, and so keeping it strongly on the point, because there's a lot of places I go with that. There's more to that angle of shit that I can hit you with, but keeping it strongly on the archetype, brainwashing, and how this shit fucks up our shit specifically, because you women look at you don't know, you encounter a righteous man, and because of your programmings, you know, Powerpuff Girls, Mojo Jojo, old dark, Swami looking, head wrap, intelligent type of motherfucker, which is always a supervillain trope, but for some reason they want to rule the world, which is also a true trope. It just don't belong to the superhero. I mean, it just don't belong to the intelligent man like that. It really more belongs to a He-Man type nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because only those type of people who don't think shit all the way through bite off more than they can chew like that. You know what I'm saying? These niggas, because you see a righteous man in a negative light, you keep destroying your families because you don't want to let this man tell you, no, bitch. If he tell you, I don't want you wearing weaves and makeup, you want to say, oh, you trying to disempower me. You know, I seen a video like that. Bitch said, you know, any man that wants you natural is trying to take away your power. And you know what? She wrong, but she right too. Go ahead. You was about to say something?
I just laughed.
Oh, yeah, she wrong, but she right. Because I noticed with one of my child's mothers, who is now gone rogue, and I told her this, I was like, yo, you get up in the morning. She used to get up and make herself up, go out to work. You know what I'm saying? And I realized after a little while, that's their armor. The makeup, the nails, the fake hair, all of that shit is a woman's armor she puts on every morning to go to battle with the world in her way. Right?
Right.
And there's a lot to that. I got to do one on the whores and the wives. Well, I'm not going to get into that aspect of it right now. But if a nigga is telling you he don't want you to have that shit on, some of it might be that he is trying to disempower you. Why? Because an empowered woman don't fucking make a good wife. And when I do one on wives and whores, the difference between them, I'll get into that more. Because that's a whole different, that shit can take us off into a whole different conversation and episode. But there's another reason he might be telling you this. And that's because all of that shit is poison. And it's been fucking proven. The weaves in the hair and all of that. Not only does it have chemicals and shit in it, but constantly twisting your hair up into that shit. That's why y'all be bald, right? And that's, the more you depend on it, the more you gotta depend on it, right? The makeup, carcinogen city. You know what I'm saying? Full of fuckery. And you want to have this shit all in your face, all on your lips all the time. Your lips are some of the most absorbent skin.
Yeah, the biggest organism of your body is your skin.
And you just absorbing this toxin. And then you want to come kiss me all in my face and mouth with all that nasty shit on your face. He might be trying to protect your dumb ass from your own self, right? Because you so busy woman competing, you don't care about your health. And so, getting back to the point, you get a righteous man, and you want to make this man your adversary because you want to keep bucking against his authority, and you want him to be more like the Joker nigga, the P. Diddy nigga, the He-Man, the Adam, the Weak. Oh, go ahead, baby. Happy. All of this shit. But all of that shit is not protection. That shit, especially the way warfare is being waged today. Because the shit is chess, it's not checkers. And for that very reason, right? You're not going to be able to understand every order that I give you. And I don't have time to explain every order that I give you. Oh, wait. We getting into tough language now. Order. Fuck this nigga think he is giving me orders. Bitch, who's giving you orders? You take orders. Fuck you mean nobody could tell you nothing, only God could. All of that shit is bullshit. Everybody got a boss.
Everybody got to take orders. Last time I checked.
Everybody got to take orders. So then you got to start asking yourself, who the fuck is you taking orders from?
You want to take orders from
And especially as a woman, you definitely take orders because only certain men get their orders straight from the Most High. You don't get as women, y'all don't have that direct line. That's why you're supposed to be under a man. Now, a lot of y'all dealing with ego. Maybe you've done a lot of study. Maybe you've got a lot of discipline. And so you show up righteous. But that doesn't mean that you have that direct line that a man has to logic. Because remember what I said about that. And anybody will tell you that a man is more logical than a woman. Generally, okay? For those of you who know girly men or very, very strong women, still doesn't change that general thing that I just said, because that's what the fuck, that's how God made shit. Right? So now because of that brainwashing of the character archetype, you can't accept the stern man. You can't accept the sternly logical man. He's a bad guy. He's cheap. He's emotionally unavailable. All of this bullshit words that you done came up with.
He's the unromantic.
Unromantic. As if romance will do anything but destroy the family. Like, what the fuck the kids gonna do when y'all whining and dining all the goddamn time? Right? Wait. Romance ain't for kids, is it? What the fuck is what we come together for? To mate? Right? What? Or you want to spend all of our money before we even get to mating, and then what do we go? Then that's why your dumbass always panic when the kid come, because you're dealing with romance up all the way up until the kid comes. So now all the money gone.
Oh, it's after the kid too.
That too, they still want it. If you happen to survive all of that, because a lot of relationships stop right there. A lot of them. Which helped me understand that it's child theft. Because why so many bitches leave a nigga right after you get a baby and you find all of the shit I saw with me? Like, this nigga was the greatest thing since sliced bread until it got real. Then he wasn't good enough no more. Then he was a terrible man. He was a narcissist all of a sudden. Right?
Yeah.
Like character archetypes.
That's the intelligent man, a Skeletor. He's a narcissist.
Right. He's a goddamn narcissist. You're right. Because he thinks he's right, as he should. Why would he be this nigga He-Man just doing somebody's bidding? You don't ever hear he don't got no goal of his own, right? Just to defend. Like, what? Is that really manly?
Y'all want a He-Man, a nigga who ain't got no goal. Just do your bidding.
Do your bidding. He's a manservant, and that's abjectly ungodly. So you manifested against the Most High, getting back to that point. So that's how this shit came together. I went off on that, the manifestation, all that, to make that connection, because when you educated wrong, right? You use your skills, abilities, and powers wrong. And a lot of you women, you're just so caught in this thing. And you know what? Not just even women, like people, because a lot of dudes.
Men doing it too.
A lot of dudes be on this get your cheerleader pom-poms for the women shit when they are clearly wrong. When they are clearly wrong about a whole lot of shit. And you got to occupy your masculinity. Because if you don't occupy it, If you don't occupy your dominant space as a man, and what you're gonna do is you just leave it open for her to occupy it. And she's not qualified to occupy it. And that shit is gonna destroy you and her, but you first and foremost. It's gonna pussyfoot around with her for a while, cause that's just how I see it go.
They get many chances.
No, it's not that they get many chances, cause once they get locked in that the door, bitches don't be understanding when that door. I know what it's like to walk through a door and hear that shit slam behind you, and know that shit is not gonna open again. You bitches deal with the same thing, but it's life and it's silent. That's why niggas keep telling you, get yourself into a good situation before you hit 30, 35, 40. Because when that fucking door slams on you, because you've been playing with niggas too much, because you don't understand. And a lot of you are heathen. So because you want to just do whatever you want, have your own way, you want to start questioning God in 1,000 different ways. But what you don't understand is when they say man was made in God's image, you think they talking about 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, like this? You never seen God? That'd be a problem. They're not talking about that. And they know who they're talking about. Man. And they're not saying like mankind.
Yeah, they're not. They're specific.
Man was made in God's image. So what do they mean when they say that? This is why I came back when I was telling y'all about the logic, you know what I'm saying, and avoiding idolatry and shit. Because that logic, that image that man was made in is that logic, that mental, that intelligence. It's a spiritual makeup, right? And so, man, and then think about the fact that God has always, in almost every culture, God. Unless you're talking about a culture that had gods, in which case they would have a couple feminine representations. And even in those cultures, the chief deity
was a man.
Is always referred to in the masculine. Do you think that's a fucking accident or just the patriarchy of men? Like, you can do that if you want, but maybe you should consider the idea or the possibility that it wasn't. Because the way that I see all of that and interpret it is man is God's representative on the planet. Closest thing. Right? And when I say men, I don't mean every man, who, no matter how terrible he is. I just mean the principle of masculinity, right? Which you are seeing a warfare on and being eroded and destroyed. And this is because what I'm saying or what I'm about to say is true. The principle of masculinity, that's once you start fighting against that, you are fighting against God. That principle of order that keeps this creation working in check, but also allowing the space for chaos to be in the mix. But again, for your reality to stay together, God's will has to be honored first and foremost. One comes before two, right?
Right.
So the character archetypes, even in what you was talking about, Powerpuff Girls, right? Look at that shit. Bunch of frivolous little girls that, don't care about nothing but what girls care about. But they overpowered as hell. Mojo Jojo, of course, always trying to rule something, but, disciplined, intelligent, they always throw that little foreign joint in there too a little bit. Like I noticed that with Cobra in G.I. Joe.
Oh yeah,
Cobra.
That's that political shit. So they can.
You're right. The main characters always had an accent. It sounded like they came from somewhere. They were foreign. You know what I mean? They used to do that shit at WWF back in the day too. You know, you got Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Then you got the Iron Sheik, Andre the Giant. You know, all these, you know, Miss Rey Mysterio. You know what I'm saying? All of these foreign ass, and these were the bad guys a lot of the time, right? All these character archetypes, especially when you're young, fucking with your head, right? And kind of programming you to see the world in a certain way. It's real shit. And this shit has lasting effects. You know what I'm saying? This shit has lasting effects, and so this is where you get into the perception creating reality, or perception is reality. Because of the power of the human mind to manifest, even if it's against the will of the Most High. Yeah, you get enough people believing a bunch of bullshit, and you start to see shit operate on some bullshit. But that's even worse, because now when you got mass insanity, right, going on in your species, race, species, whatever you want to bring it to, whatever level you want to bring it to, in yourself, in your family, in your tribe, in your race, in your species. Once you have that, you're on the track to the extinction, my nigga. So the key takeaway I want y'all to get from this is that a righteous man is not necessarily a nice man. And for you ladies out there, one big thing I want to get across within this vein too is that y'all about to suffer the consequences of a lot of this shit anyway, unfortunately. But you know, you should never challenge a man's manhood, like calling niggas faggots, you know, all of that kind of thing. You're not a man, and all that. You should never do that. You should never, ever, ever do that. Because well, first and foremost, because you're not a man. But also because when you do that, like, and you start brainwashing men into not being men, you're crippling your own people. And that is the root cause of black people having the same old problems for such a very long time. Y'all took over buck breaking at this point. It's amazing how they pulled it off too. It's great. Great fucking work, actually, if you know, just thinking about it from scientific, logical, supervillain type shit. Like, great fucking work. I always respect a well thought out plan, even if it's against me. Again, remember, there's no real good and evil. There's, right. Are winner, you loser. Ready to deal with this? Huh?
I said it's win or loser though.
Goddamn right, there's that. And that's determined more than anything by who's more snugly in reality. That's why warfare is such a critical and important thing for humans, as much as they hate it. Because when you go to war, at least when you go to war for some, you know, for the right reasons and shit. And today is such a piece of shit place to really have this example, because there's so many ways to cheat now, right? But when you're dealing with just kind of basic warfare, straight line warfare, without all the technological, you know, extra shit, and without having one side having a wild overpowered advantage on the other, like air capability, superior air capability or whatever, And even those things, when they start to come together and everybody's got them, it still comes down to strategy, right? And so usually the winner in a war, you know, the winning general in a war is a motherfucker, or in a battle, the motherfucker who sees shit the clearest, most realistically, assesses his abilities and also the abilities and capabilities of his adversary, and then creates a plan and a model in his mind that's going to stick closest to reality. That's going to be the one who wins. The general who lets any kind of illusion slip into his thinking or plan and don't calculate some shit right, you're going to suffer the defeat. And so war is like, that's why war is not something that you get to just dispense with, and why it's something that you always got to be ready for. Because that shit keeps your ass close to God. Because there ain't nothing more important than being logical when your ass is on the line. And a lot of y'all women, and we're going to start to wrap up here, as this world looks as if it is prepared to go to war again, that's where men like me start to make sense again, right? And that's when all this shit I be saying in here, you know, y'all don't like it, or you think, oh, you should respect women more. That's when none of that shit's gonna matter no more. Because you bitches is gonna be in a bad situation, because when the warriors come out to play, the witches and the wizards have to run and hide. Because all that playing with a nigga mind when he got his sword out or his gun out, that shit don't work no more. So, y'all bitches be careful, man. Take care of yourself, all right? Because you definitely going to be taking care of yourself.
No. Facts, man. It was a good one. This was a different angle, something different to give y'all their perspective, something to think about. Yeah, I know this one kind of was hard for you to really get in on like that. Yeah, it was definitely.
But I hadn't fleshed out this principle with you a lot, though. So, we didn't do it real time in here, but yeah. Hopefully y'all got something from it, man. I feel like I did a lot of talking this time, but I also feel like it was something, because that was a big thing when I recognized that, oh, righteous men are painted with a wicked brush, evil, like evil men, you know what I'm saying? Just because they don't accept no bullshit. And I don't think nobody should be required to accept bullshit. So how does that make a nigga evil? Because you trying to get him and he won't let you. Get the fuck out of here. Y'all got to cut it out with this ladrona attitude y'all got. You think it's your right to run around and rob men? What ladrona means in Spanish, thief and bitch. But yeah, man, y'all got to get out of that, man. The nigga, I'm not your ATM. I'm not here for you to rob. You know what I'm saying? And I'm damn sure not here for you to disrespect, okay?
Right. Yeah, for sure. The nigga is,
and if you got a really good nigga, yeah. And if you got a really righteous nigga, yeah, you put yourself in the path of correction, which you call abuse. When you do that, you don't disrespect a righteous man. Most likely he's just gonna leave you alone. But depending on how hot it gets and how much shit you doing and what's on the line, listen, man, you gotta use your head, okay? You just gotta use your head, okay? You be trying to use love to act like love is an excuse to violate niggas, and I'm like, yo, would you do that shit to, you know, a motherfucking known killer like John Gotti, like, or some shit like that? Like, why does it Why do a nigga have to go there just because love is involved? Like, don't corrupt love like that. If you fuck with somebody, fuck with them and know that they matter too. Learn that you have to meet their needs as well as them meeting your needs. Because that's what a relationship looks like. Or stay out of relationships. And don't feel no way about just being, we'll say, a free woman. And leave niggas to be free too, that you fuck with, okay? Because you don't have the right to safety that they don't have. You don't have the right to control over them that they don't have over you. And you don't have the right to know more about this nigga than he knows about you, okay? So my computer is about to die. Let's go on and finish this up.
That is the
man.
time we have for y'all today.
Yeah, I be fucking up, forgetting to plug this shit in.
Comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Check out Dark Truths, you know.
Check out the Dark Truths. Check out the Cell Therapy. Check out HeruTheFirstSon.com. And just look around, see what you find. And with that, Father, Son, and Trolley Ghost. We out.
We out of here. Peace. Cool.